Welcome to Exposition Imaginaire at Kunsthalle Wien. I'm happy to have a talk together with Chris Kabel. You are in Rotterdam now, aren't you? Yeah, okay. Chris, you have been born in Bloemendaal in the Netherlands, and you have studied at the Design Academy in Eindhoven, yeah? And graduated there, and then moved to Rotterdam and started with your design projects and working in this field, I think in 2001 or 2, like this, some years ago.
That's correct.
Yeah. And at the moment, you also are professor at the École Cantonale d'Art at Lausanne in Switzerland. Yeah, is it fine there? I love Lausanne. I think it's a very nice city in Switzerland.
Yeah, it's great. There's always good weather, and there's it's a good place to teach. There's a lot of opportunities, a lot of projects that I can do there that are not possible to do somewhere else because they are very well funded. So there's a lot of opportunities.
Yeah. And maybe it's interesting to speak about your own
work
and to talk. You don't hear me? Aha, what can we do? Hört mich nicht mehr. It is better now?
I cannot hear you.
You can't hear me? Lukas? Es geht schon wieder? Do you hear me now?
Yeah? Yes.
Is it better? I lost this element here.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, Chris, here at Kunsthalle Wien, when we go to our shop and entrance room, there is a very nice table and some sitting possibilities. You made them for Kunsthalle. Is it so here? This chairs and table, do you remember? It was in cooperation with your design company, I think.
I did have a circular wooden bench in Vienna for a while. It's back.
Yeah. But it was here, and it was very often used, and people loved it. And it was also used for our education team. They sat together, and this is, I think, a typical example for your work because there is a conception behind it. You can tell later, maybe, yeah. And it looks very nice and fine, and it's very good to use. It's a very functional element. And so you told me you will show us some of your projects and things, and together we will speak about this question we have here in our exhibition, which is not really an exhibition, but it's on the digital age and the question, what is the original work of art today and in the future in connection with internet and digitalization of life and reality, we could say. Yeah? And you told me also in design production, it's a very interesting and very important thing to think about and to live with these new possibilities of virtuality, also in connection with pictures, with photography. So from the beginning of planning and designing objects and things up to purchase them, because today we can go to an internet shop and buy things.
Yes.
But we can't prove them if they really fit. Yeah? If maybe it's a table or a chair. Yeah? We can't sit in this chair, but we can buy it. And what happens later if we don't like it, and so on. So maybe you sent me some photos. Maybe should we start with this one here? Because I have seen this when I've been in Frankfurt last year. I have been at Porticus, and they had some of those lamps you designed, and I asked, hey, what's that? I didn't know it is from your. And they show it to me, and I was really excited because I have never seen this possibility of creation variable situations between party light and light for work situation or like this.
It's called Feierabend.
Okay, Feierabend, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But you can use it before Feierabend too, as I have seen. Yeah.
Yeah. Now the idea was that in Portugal they have this wonderful office space, which is also used as a space for vernissage or for dinners. Sometimes the Portuguese also rents it out, but they had this bleak neon light all the time, and they didn't have a lot of budget, so they asked me if I could do something with the existing lamps. That are hanging there, and they have 3 strips of fluorescent lamps hanging. And the only thing I did was I lowered the tube a little bit, and then I made a garland out of light filter material that is normally used in theaters, which is then can be opened or closed around the tube. So if you are working normally, it's closed or opened, and when you have a party, you can add color to the office light. But as far as I understood now, I think at Porticus they are always open, so there's always a party at Porticus.
You also told me, in a way we know it, that colors are very important for our feelings and the moods we have. You are working with these ideas or scientific researches or results too, yeah? Basically, maybe that's the next. I don't know if you can show this lamp with a dark background. Yeah. That's actually come like a step after this lamp. So there was first the office party lamp, and this is the blue sky lamp, which was made by I kind of invented a special light filter that emulates the blue sky. So it does exactly the same as what happens when sunlight shines through the atmosphere. I found a way to kind of diffract and scatter the light in the same way as what happens when the sunlight shines through the atmosphere of the Earth. And I did that because I was asked to participate on an exhibition on winter depression. I read that the light of the blue sky during a sunny day makes people happy, and Philips already designed a lamp that had this color of light, but I wanted to make it into a more aesthetic, less therapeutical, or it should be therapeutical but also aesthetic. Instead of that, you just have this little box which shines in a blue light. I wanted to also have a kind of that there was also the experience of being outside. So this dome this disc is 90 centimeters, and if you're standing under it, it's almost as if you are really standing outside because of the effect that it does. Yeah, and this lamp, was it produced in a series, and so can you purchase it in shops? Or? We're working on it right now. Okay. I'm working with a new small Dutch company that wants to, they call themselves environmental enrichers, and they are trying to, they're working on a collection of this object, but also similar objects that add, in one way or another, kind of stimuli to the office or the working environment. Okay. I asked this because of the first question, because this would very important maybe, to test the situation if it really works. So if I don't know how many minutes or hours you need to have this light situation to come in a good mood or like this, or aware depressions.
Yeah, it's all. Of course, it's. I must say that it's not based on hardcore scientific research, but it is based on research that other people did and which I then kind of interpreted.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you tried it if it works for your own.
Yes, and I
Consciences.
also I noticed that a lot of people that used it, or it was exhibited several times,
Okay.
and I noticed that a lot of people didn't want to leave under it. They stayed standing under it. It was hanging quite low at one exhibition, and it was really a place where people would gather.
Okay. So let's have what do you think should we show next? There is another lamp. What is this?
I cannot see.
Oh, a sticky lamp. 06 is the name of the file. Sticky lamp. I don't know.
06. I don't know.
You know what I mean, yeah?
Yeah. That's a very old design. It's my graduation project.
Okay.
But I think it's good to leave that a bit on the desktop because it kind of I would like to use it later as an illustration of a few things that we're going to talk about.
Okay.
But the sticky lamp is, in short, it's a lamp like a sticker. So you take off the back and then you can stick it wherever you need light. And it's nothing more than that. It's a very cheap product that costs 20 euros. And it's also the product that has been produced most by a Dutch label called Drag Design.
Yeah. So what would you like to show next? We have this from Fogo Islands for the hotel keys. Do you want to speak about this project?
No, maybe I would like to speak more about the bench that was at Kunsthalle.
There is it this one? Yes, yeah. I have it here. Yeah. It's here, the ring, yeah?
And then especially in regards to the design is a circle, and the circle is made out of one piece of wood that is being cut up in 100 pieces.
Yeah.
And they are cut up in such a way that all the time you take away from one side, you take away a little bit of wood, so that a straight piece can become a circle. And the wood grain continues all along the bench. So if you look behind your head, there is you can really see the beginning and the end of the tree. Actually, it's a tree of 10 meters long, and it's just bent physically in a circle. So. But what was interesting about this project was that because it's so big, it's quite hard for it to travel. But at the same time, it's important, to make it kind of to spread it around the world, to make it known and to talk about it and to have other people react to it. So I knew from the beginning that I wanted to take this picture. When I made the bench, it was very clear that I needed this picture to communicate the idea but to communicate the bench without needing it physically. The picture was already enough and said, for me, it also was very complete in a way.
Okay, yeah.
Because it shows everything that you want to know about the bench. You see a scale because of the woman, you see the wood grain, you see the part where the beginning of the tree changes into the end of the tree, so where the snake kind of bites its own tail. So this picture was very crucial to have. So I went to quite some lengths to make it balancing on ladders with sticks and remote controls for cameras to get the image right. But finally we managed, and it really helped to communicate the bench on a world platform.
Yeah. Okay. So this is this issue we spoke about on Phone last week, when you spoke about the importance of pictures and photography in a way.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, because I'm a designer, so the things that I make are maybe more products than ideas, and the photos that are made of the objects are also more used to sell the physical object often than to sell the. In art, it's different, I think.
Yeah.
Because in art, or it's an addition, but most of the time, a picture of an artwork is meant to illustrate or to confirm or to, in any other way, kind of transgress an idea. Whereas for the design, it is much more advertisement, the picture. And so the picture helps to sell the product, because that's how we make money, basically.
Yeah. This is because I asked before if your lamps or projects are produced like industrial design in a series or in large numbers, but this example is more a unique thing.
The circle is more unique.
Yeah.
So in this way, it worked also more as an art piece, and it worked also more in an art context.
Okay.
And the interesting part is also that this object is also sold through a kind of design art gallery in Paris. Whereas the sticky lamp, maybe I'm not sure if it's still. I cannot see the whole screen, but is it still on the?
No, I will show it. Sticky lamp, where are you? Here.
Sticky lamp 06.
Here it is, yeah.
Yeah. That is more that really needs the picture to sell the product. And then the product is available all over the world, or it's available through internet. But at least it's very available. You can have it. It's a different. I think it's even a different story, a different kind of picture. And what I find interesting now is what you see, that more and more labels are starting to sell also online, or exclusively online. So they even stop having stores, having actual brick stores.
Okay.
And what I'm not sure, and this is all a bit speculative, but what I'm wondering is now that the picture is used so much to sell the object, or sometimes the movie, is that I'm wondering if it would change maybe the objects themselves. So if the design, it's a kind of assumption, right? But if the design or the way that things look will change because of the fact how they are, how do you say, commodified, or how they are being sold. Like, will they adapt to this new reality in their form, or in their in the way that they look, or in the way that they function? And I'm not sure, but I think it will be like this. And one of the things that you notice now already is that you see that things become very graphic.
Okay, yeah.
Very iconic, I'm not sure, but very graphic, and that there are very clear juxtapositions of colors and of materials and of shapes that are very easy to understand when you look at them on a screen. And maybe that are less interesting when you see them in real. But it doesn't matter, because people order the objects on the screen. So then when they have it in their house, yeah, maybe some people will return it, but a lot of people will not. Or, yeah. So I don't know. I think there's a kind of, I'm very interested to see how this will evolve in the future. If it's really if that really has a consequence, but I think so. Yeah. And then there will also be a kind of Darwinian kind of evolution where that you can maybe already see right now that the things that are being sold well are maybe things that communicate well, and the things that are not being sold well, they will be taken out of the realm of sellable products, and they will die out. So and I'm not sure, but I'm really looking to figure out what these shapes or what makes these products successful, what makes them the fittest, so to say. Also, at the same time, things are changing in that now movies and 3D experiences are much more easy to have very cheaply, also because most of the products are designed in 3D. So they have already a 3D existence without even being made in physical material. So that will probably also, and that allows you actually to have a very good look at all the details of an object without even ordering it yet. So that goes a little bit contrary to what I was saying before, that things become very graphic. I think until now things have become very graphic, but maybe in the future, because of this that it's so easy to see things in 3D now, it will probably then change again into something else, where things have to be three-dimensionally very interesting, so that people can, because they can already experience the three-dimensionality.
Yeah, and you can't experience what's important to something. Sometimes the more emotional or other forms of recipiation, like
like
smell
temperature
or material itself. Is it artificial material or is it wood or what this? No? So
that you cannot.
You cannot. No.
Not yet.
You can't taste it. Not yet.
Or smell. No, and you cannot feel the temperature of a material or the weight. Even such a simple thing as the weight you cannot feel yet. So there's a lot of things that you also cannot feel. And what you see now a lot is that people go to a store, they check out the whole the product, and finally they order it online somewhere else on some kind of price crawler. They look for the cheapest price, and then they order it there. So the stores, like it kind of increases each other. On one hand, more stores are selling online, and on the other hand, stores that are brick stores are getting less and less relevant, and they only become showrooms, but they don't sell anything anymore.
What will we show next? There's this cable stack ring, or Chris Kabel Fogo finds number 5, number 6, number 4. Number 3. Oh, these are these keys, for the keys for the hotel.
Key hangers.
Do you want to explain this, because it's very different to this normal functional objects we use, I think. May I show it on the screen?
Yeah. Sure. I don't know what. This was for a hotel on Fogo Island, and these are the key hangers for the rooms. There's 29 rooms in the hotel, so there's 29 different key hangers, each cast in bronze from something that I found on the island. I walked along the coast, and I collected a lot of things that I found, and I went to people's houses, and there I saw interesting stuff. and everything that had a certain size that could have been a key hanger, I just, without really being very critical, collected that and made into a key hanger. So there's very banal things like a bullet that they used to hunt birds, to a float from a fishing net, to some kind of handicraft objects, to the rib of a reindeer. It's not a reindeer, it's it's an elk, sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
This is nearby Canada, so it's in the high north.
Yeah.
And this island, and it was settled by a former tribe people, but they were fishers, but they could not find more fish, I think, the last year. So it's a problematic.
This hotel, yes.
Yeah. All this island situation was a problematic situation for the original people there.
Very much, yeah. Which that was also why the hotel was being built there, to find alternative ways of income and of purpose, in life, and also to make people stay at the islands, because there's a lot of these islands that are empty now, where nobody lives anymore. There's no schools anymore. There's no more posts. There's no shops. You can do nothing. But Fogo is very, very live, because I think partly because of the hotel, and it has the people also have a very positive attitude there. But the hotel really generates a lot of activity. Suddenly, it's a real generator, and it's a very high-end hotel. That was also why it was possible to make these kind of extravagant hotel keys. So I think they also, like everybody that works in the hotel comes, most of the people come from the islands itself. So they were all, and also the dresses, like their clothing was made on or in collaboration with the people from the island. So everything is focused on that it comes from or has a direct link to the island.
Yeah. Okay. So what you did in a way is also research work on the origins and situations, what happened and what happens there in this special situation of this island, with your objects, which are casts of original things. Yeah.
They're all original things. They are. Every object has every object has some kind of story. There's the head of a dried codfish, but it's a special codfish because it has the jaw is how do you say, it's very short. So it was a very special codfish, and then they decided to cut off the head and dry that head because it was a lucky charm.
Okay. Yeah.
And but so I asked if I could have this charm of them to cast, but they didn't allow me. So we recreated a disabled codfish from an original codfish, and we did some plastic surgery on the codfish to have the right like small jaw.
Okay.
There's a bit, sometimes we had to do a little bit of tricks to keep the stories right. So especially the codfish was our ordeal to do, but it was very good. I can't see them all actually now. Maybe I can see them here. Yeah, there's also a protected flower that we that I took the last day from the island, and when I came back to Holland, I immediately cast it in silicone, so I would have the imprint of the flower. and there's a kid's hammer that I found. There's a lot of things, but I think together they kind of. I think it's not really about the objects by themselves, but it's more the collection of the objects that give a kind of atmosphere of life on this island. And also, I think it also maybe it's a bit melancholic in a way, because it's a life that is like a lot of it refers to fishing, to knots, to so in a way that's also a life that's been lost. But it could even be a kind of monument to this old lifestyle, but then adapted for the new context.
Yeah. Last week we also spoke about the question of today of a physical store. This is another situation you spoke about, but I think what you are doing here in a way has to do with an archive or storing memory or things of history and a special local situation, like, in a way, to show it again, as you do when you store it and you show it in a museum. But the question last week was more: is the physical store still relevant for the future or for our situation in this digital age, or the possibilities of virtuality? So the physical store is one thing. Maybe you have some ideas about this, I think, to this topic.
I think the physical store is not anymore. It's going to change a lot. But we discussed this already a little bit right before. But it's very. I mean, and for a lot of ways, it's very necessary to keep cities alive, or to keep to be able to communicate about things, or for people to experience things like we were talking about. You need to experience the weight or the materiality or the smell of objects. But maybe not so much the store, but also the label maybe is interesting to think about, because a lot of times now what you see in the design world is that labels become a bit less interesting, and that it's more people that are producing their own works and selling them directly through internet. So they use internet as their own store. So they don't need anymore a label that produces objects in China for them. They produce it themselves. Maybe with their family, or with they hire a few people, or they find companies that do certain things for them, and then they sell it directly online. So they're like this online presence, or this digital presence, also kind of allows you to cut out a lot of steps in a way. And also, it enables you to be more independent, or to be to have more control over a lot of things. Of course, there's also a lot of things that are not very pleasant about it, because you are very involved with your product, and apart from being a designer, you also become a producer, and you also become a transporting agent, and you also become a call center and a repair center, all those kind of things, and that is something that you must like. I did it for some objects. I did it, but what I find is that I don't have I don't think it's my. I don't think it's. I did it in the past, and I will not do it anymore, because I don't want to be this call center, and I do not want to be this repair center, and this. There's a kind of this directness. So the direct contact with your client might seem very pleasant, but actually it's also very problematic, I think. I prefer to have filters in between.
Okay, yeah. But it's a new chance, or it's a chance for new products and for new ideas to be distributed and not be gathered in those trusts and globalized companies with their labels. Yeah. You see this as a positive perspective or vision with real possibilities. So if you, yeah.
I'm thinking if there's another thing. Yeah, I think it's nice to talk about to keep on talking about this from the perspective of a designer. And then what you see, what harks a bit back on what I just said, is this 3D printing aspect, where suddenly there's a lot of things that you can say about it. For me, 3D printing. I might change this opinion later, but for me now it's a bit like the sticky tape of the 21st century. So, and I mean by that you can use it to connect things that you previously could not connect together. Like when in the past they would use a rope to repair something or to fix something or to combine things that were not combined together before. In the 20th century they would use tape, and I think now you can use 3D printing to do that. And it is nice because then you can it's a kind of glue that allows you to make things that you could previously not combine together. And that's very liberating, and at the same time it's very accessible because I can order elements and incorporate them in products that I make and then sell them and then like it's a very accessible and easy way to work with this technique. But at the same time the object itself doesn't really exist. I mean, you can print it, but the object itself is just data. Everybody can print it. And what you also see now is that people are starting to copy objects that exist or existed and then make them again. Even objects that are like artifacts or maquettes or models of designers or architects from the past that have been lost are now being printed again in order to have those objects that were not there, were never executed, or were lost in time or were destroyed. Now they are suddenly it's possible to reenact them or relive them in an easy way and to make them accessible and also to make them accessible on a global scale. I mean, you can print out something in Australia and Japan and the US at the same time. But the object doesn't have to travel. It's just the idea that travels.
And it's but like the photography or the copy, it's a copy of, in a way, the copy of original, or can you think you can create new things because the scan situation works like the copy machine with a lot of photos in a sphere. And you need, I don't know, depends on the sizes of these objects. You need to have these photos to create this three-dimensional copy or object. This is what I mean to the question of design. Do you think you can create new to use this technology? I think like in photography, when you do samplings or developments or diverse changing of the original with digital photography. I think you can do this with 3D prints, maybe.
Yes, sure. It's very easy.
Okay.
Yeah, you can completely change and adapt the reality or the original um, if you know the language, of course. And also, I don't think with 3D printing there is not such a thing as a copy. I think everything is an original, in a way. Like, what is the original then? Is that the first print? Or is that the last one? Or is that, I mean, the best one, or the highest resolution, or the... So that's actually nice that there's no first, or maybe there's a first in time, but there's no best or worst, or there's also no failures, in a way.
Yeah. This is again a difference to the traditional art on the art market, yeah? Because the art market always has the problem with original and copies, or the first edition, the second edition, since art is reproducible, since woodcuts and so. So this is a problem, but it's not a problem for the daily use of things, or in the reality, so in the everyday reality. But in art it is. And so for us, for an art institution or museum, this is always the question. What is the original, and how do people react or reflect on an original when you compare it with a copy, or like this, yeah? So, or what we have in internet. This is a question for us as an institution that's interesting. And so I ask you for these differences, because if everything is on one level and there is not the first or the 100th one. Oh, is it weg?
No.
Hello? No, you are here again. Okay.
Yeah.
No, just to think about this, I have no idea now how to go further.
No, I think, talking about there's in this with 3D printing there is no original, but with of course with design, the industrially made objects, there is a prototype, there is a test, there is a mock-up, there is a first edition, second editions, and that. But now in this digital age, there is no you can skip that idea of originality. At the same time, there still needs to be somebody. I mean, there's still somebody with an idea that wants to live off this idea, and that's sometimes I think that's still a big discussion that is alive in the design world. It's like, how do you make money with ideas that are freely available, or that become very easily accessible for everybody to do whatever with? Do you start a kind of international digital design police that prevents people from printing objects that are earmarked? Or do you maybe incorporate a certain mistake in the object so that when it's printed it doesn't work unless you kind of unhack the object so that it becomes functional? Like I don't know, like maybe it's locked, or maybe there's something printed with it so the object actually doesn't work. It is all very physical and maybe all very stupid, but we face the same problems as the music industry, I think, where there are people trying to find formats to make money with things that are at the same time have to be freely available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we have more here? Should we speak about more products or ideas of your... what is this? Maybe, why not? This stack ring, I think cable stack ring. I could show these stapled chairs here. When they are, You don't see it, but you know the photo.
But you also have to show the ring.
The ring, okay.
Yeah.
Here's the ring.
Yeah.
So we can show both of them, I think.
This is yeah, I think it works more or less. It's good. I like this layering. It's good.
You are in the middle of the ring now. Okay.
Kind of holy. What you see is I think 350 stools, injection molded in a factory in China. Where each stool has becomes slightly more red than the previous one. So we started with a white stool, and then the plastic. Every time a new stool was made, a little bit of red colorant was added to kind of create this this gradient. But the idea is that you have a kind of. I wanted to make a Chinese copy of the wood ring bench.
Yeah. Okay.
So then I thought, because there's not really a lot of big trees in China, and I also thought it was very inappropriate to fell another big tree and make another, and I thought it was also boring to make. So I wanted to do something what would make it really Chinese. And the thing that came to mind almost immediately was stacks of products. Like, what else is long that you can do something with? It's stacks of products. So that was my like Chinese tree. In a way, was the stack. Yeah. That's for me is also the most Chinese material that you can imagine. The kind of overproduction. And then I wanted to use that as a kind of new material to make stuff with, and then in this case to make this bench with. So like a kind of serpent that bites its own tail, I put the first in the last. So I made a really long stack, and then I just, pushed the first stool in the last stool, so it eats its own tail also. And but then I thought it's nice to appropriate it in some way, so I did this trick with the collar to make it, I don't know, to make it a little bit more mine, or to make it a little bit more special, and also to show that I was kind of to appropriate it, I think, in a certain way. And I was also curious to see what would happen. It was a little dream of me to do this, to add this.
Yeah. And so you can use the ring as a bench as well as the wooden bench. Is it possible?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But at the same time, you also have 350 stools if you need.
Yeah.
So you can do something very exclusive or something super democratic. Yeah.
But it's hard to recycle the material. It's plastic, or what is it?
It's plastic.
Plastic. Yeah.
No, it's not. I mean, plastic is very easy to recycle.
Okay.
But the only thing that now is that it will all become a little bit pink. But no, plastic is. I mean, it's not biodegradable, but you can melt it and you can make it into something else. And that is actually also what the factory did. Like, with all the things that failed, they chopped it up and made them into other products. So they had it's funny because this factory was quite special. At the entrance of the factory, there was this enormous pile of failures that was lying there, and which I thought was very strange, because like, you are a factory and you want to show how good you are in things and also how bad you are in things, but they kind of decided to put all the plastic things that came out wrong from the mold at the entrance of the factory. And there was a few people that were chopping up with a machine. They were chopping up those failures into little pellets, which would then be melted again into recycled plastic objects. Okay. It's an interesting experience.
Yeah. So,
but for about maybe talking about to link it to a kind of physicality or non-physicality, I think what I like is that the idea of a round bench, it is possible to execute this round bench in so many different materials. So the idea kind of lives on in different manifestations. Or you can, I mean, we're making a bench in ceramics. And I'm very curious to keep on like finding ways how to make a round bench. I think it's a very nice. I get a lot of pleasure from it, and I think every time there's also something to say about material and shape, and the idea of the round bench is a kind of given in a way. But you can execute it in so many different ways.
Yeah. Okay.
And in a way, every time you execute it in another material, it also becomes a stronger idea, maybe. I can imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay, Chris. Any other things you want to tell us? Because our hour is over soon, but I don't know. Are there any other visions or thoughts you want?
Probably when I press end on my phone, then I will be like, I should have said this or that. But for now, no, I don't really have anything to add to what we talked about. But I enjoyed it a lot.
Okay, so we will visit your homepage and see your next products, maybe, or inventions, and we are curious what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Chris. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we stay in contact.
Yes, let's do.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.